I would like to mention like two lines I was thinking about, because one line is certainly the participants who are there and who are maybe touched somehow by the death of a member of community, because I guess some people are coming more often. And you actually mentioned that throughout the dance you do, they create relationships, well, easier way than normally maybe. So basically they have certainly some kind of connection. And in that case, it would be certainly fine to mention that a member of your group died, because it expresses kind of, respect, or maybe the dignity. It's a kind of human dignity, I know it's not a favorite topic to talk about. However, I believe that if the good way is chosen, then it may give the others the feeling that you will not forget them, that if something like that happens to them, they will be remembered, and, will have some kind of special treatment, let's say. It will be probably up to you to choose if you really mention the death or not. But the other line, not to forget, is also the lecturers, because, you are also the humans. And of course, if you go through several deaths during the time, then it's probably necessary to kind of heal your feelings and souls, So even though you wouldn't mention it, for example, to the participants, it's always good to look at how the lecturers actually feel. Very important thing before you start actually working on how to process these rituals of death is to make sure that you are able to confirm the information. Only then you can mention it to the participants. Now, it will be very important to find the way that is suitable for you, basically. Well, usually the easiest way is just the mention that the situation happened, that someone died, because you have the information confirmed. Ideal situation is that you have it confirmed with the family somehow, and actually you get the information from the family also, what you can mention, because someone dies of heart attack, and I guess that the family won't be against mentioning, okay, our František, for example, died of heart attack, and you can say it to the participants. However, what can also happen is that someone commits suicide, and that's very, very emotional topic. And sometimes the family don't want this fact to be mentioned. So basically, you should communicate only the things that are confirmed and mentioned by the family. And well, that some people or some participants gets emotional, that will probably happen. It might also not happen. You may have like many reactions, starting from a happy laugh to a horrible cry. You can get everything from this portfolio. And probably it would be good if some of you or someone who is entitled to mention the death knows at least the basics of crisis intervention, because that's a special way of communication, and then you can interfere with the emotions of those participants. I think you should think it over and be well prepared, for such cases. And your organization, I would certainly recommend to prepare something like the crisis plans. We have these plans to save our physical beings, like evacuation, things like these, so the people know where to go, they know what's their role and everything. So these crisis plans are something like the mental care. So certainly you should know what your roles are in the situation, because not everyone is also able or feels fine to announce such information. And if they don't feel they can handle it, then it's better not to do it at all. So basically that would be fine to have some roles in your group defined, and also probably the process, how you will do it. If it's some participant who is like the real heart of the group, for example, someone who is there for years and was like that sweet person, loving everyone loved him, then probably you will choose a different, well, not kind of ritual, but the different process than for someone who was coming in occasionally, but you have the information, it's confirmed, and you just want to reflect it because it's just that respectful kind of thing. So I would certainly recommend to have kind of a detailed crisis plan, how to handle the whole situation, including what to do if someone is touched a lot by that communication. You will have to do the decision if you mention really every death you know about and you have it confirmed, or not. I don't think it would be necessary if you have a participant who was there twice, you get the information, but as you say, there were no real like contacts or a relationship with the others, then probably it's not necessary to mention that death every time. I wouldn't certainly choose the ritual about like the death in general, okay? Because it's dangerous, and it doesn't actually fulfill why you would decide doing it. These rituals are certainly for the people who died, and we just want to send them a nice thought and like say goodbye. Actually, it's important for us as well, because then we have a chance to say goodbye, even though we didn't have it physically, for example. So we can end one part and kind of continue. That's why the ritual is so important for the people who stay, the bereaved ones. So certainly it's the ritual for the person. Now, how to set it up? There are many possibilities how to do it. Most often, if we work with the groups, we choose the ritual that's either that the people can write or think about the message for the person who died, like to send them a nice thought, basically, and we use the water actually to put the messages in. However, I think if you have the dance community, you can kind of send those thoughts through dance as well. I don't see why not. That's actually the nice ways of expressing it. So that's one kind of ritual. Or if we kind of know or see at that moment that the situation is difficult for the others, for the participants in your case, we choose the ritual that's saying, okay, the situation is hard, so let's take all the hardness you have and heavy thoughts or anything, and put your heavy thoughts on that paper, and then we put them to the water. Well, certainly not towards the end, because the problem is that, as you mentioned before, the situation may be kind of distressed for some participants. And if you choose the end, then you won't be able to take care of those participants. So certainly I would choose the beginning of that lesson to mention it, because then you can see First of all, you can see how the participants behave or what are their emotions, and you can, talk to them later. Or basically, if you do the ritual at the very beginning, then you still have the time where, the participants will actually end one part and then they can go back to their life through the dance. So certainly I would choose the beginning. Ending, never, please never choose the end. The ritual should have some steps, and the steps are in your hands. You are the ones who manage the situation, basically. So that's what you need to have prepared. Then you don't need any special tools. I think for your use, it would be really nice to be able to put it into your dance class. So probably use some kind of movement more than anything else, because it's, I guess, natural for your community. And what is very important in giving those information and go through them is be authentic. If it's very difficult for the person, if they express hard emotions, then you would need to take them aside and have the short conversation with them. If you see that there are some emotions, but the person is like kind of working or dancing or whatever normally, but you see that it's kind of difficult, then it would be fine to ask them at the end of the lesson, if they need something, what you can do for them. On the other hand, you are not the therapist. So basically, it's about a short conversation, about telling them that you understand that the situation is difficult, really asking them, okay, what I can do for you, maybe what you can do for you now, and basically turning them into, okay, and what are the steps you are going to do now, just to, get them back from emotions to that logical thinking. So really going through the steps they are doing now. And that would be very useful if you had some contacts for the crisis lines. There are some special telephone lines for seniors even. So it would be good if you had the telephone number and were able to give them that telephone number. And then that's the work of, other people to take care of such person. This information has to be said or put in by someone who is able to say the information, but also handle the emotions, and who is able on that spot to say to everyone, okay, we can see the different reactions, which is a normal situation because we have various reactions to the informations, and now just respect that we have it, differently. And sometimes it's also good to mention it at the very beginning, even before the ritual, or that now everyone can experience different emotions, because sometimes people even don't feel anything at that moment and they start to feel bad because they don't feel anything, So it's very important to mention, look, now you may have any reaction and it's fine. Everyone will respect it because it's just normal that we have various reactions to various situations. Humor belongs to death, that's the thing. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people don't like speaking about death that much, because everyone, or most of the people, imagine that it has to be like horrible and hard, and we all have to cry and all you can imagine. But it doesn't have to be this way. Even the rituals are not done as a sad event, It's just something expressing really our respect towards the person who died. And if we have, if it was someone who was full of jokes and smiles and happiness, then why should we not continue in that line, So yeah, certainly. I mean, death can be connected with everything basically. And it's very useful, even if we inform about death. Of course, we don't laugh, it's not joke, but we don't have to be those like looking totally depressed. We just giving some information with the respect, but it doesn't mean that we have to look like it's the tragedy. How we can not contribute to making taboo from death is just take it as a part of life and communicate about it. What's happening very often, and I experience it myself, is when someone dies to you, for example, you are bereaved, then suddenly people don't know what to do. You are suddenly like out of the society because they are going around because what should I say? How should I behave? The person in that situation may be very hurt by this kind of behavior. Be prepared to communicate and support the people who have fear of death, because there are many people who have these real fears. So let's be prepared to talk, support, don't avoid the topic. That's basically how we can proceed. I don't think the form is as important as the act of respect. So I think for your safety and to be in the topic, I would choose just 1, 2, maybe 3 ways how you can do the ritual, and you can just pick and choose what's useful for you, because of course, this is emotionally difficult for the person in lead as well. So it's good for them to kind of have some borders in which they can move quite safely, basically.